Hello and welcome. My name is David Baker, and I have the privilege to work with John Jubilee, who is the world's leading cellular health scientist. He has helped over 53,000 people become healthy from the inside out, getting off all medications, literally reversing aging, cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, and many other illnesses. John was personally given Dave Ramsey's staff for free to build his business after Dave Ramsey saw John's generous passion for helping people for 10 years for free. John's clients are a list of who's who with many celebrities, hundreds of doctors, and thousands of entrepreneurs and business leaders who want to have maximum performance like us. I have personally experienced amazing results already, and just like hundreds and thousands of people across America and now the world. John is currently being courted by Lifetime Television, a national radio syndication, to share his scientific solution to energize health. John has recently shared the floor at the United Nations last month, sharing his worldwide acclaimed science. Steve Forbes, presidents, ambassadors, along with the physician for the last four presidents, all declared John's science is a first and needed by all. So we welcome Mr. John Jubilee and the unstoppable Tracy.
Unstoppable Tracy.
Woo! Oh, it's such a pleasure to be here with you, John.
Well, I am thrilled too. And why don't you introduce me to your audience here and tell me everyone that's here, is this really like 20 or 30 nations around the world?
At least. You'll be surprised. South Africa and Singapore, and I just got back from Russia. There are so many wonderful folks from this incredible year of touring, and none so as incredible as the magical John Jubilee. We met at Mega Success in LA, and he had a crowd of people saying, John, John, and wanting photographs, and I was at the other door, and they were saying, Tracy, Tracy, and we were both slowly backing up as we were doing photographs for folks, and we ended up bumping into each other. And then it's just been magic ever since. The energy and the sort of the law of attraction in abundance has been ever since John and I have connected. It's phenomenal. Even getting here on time, we had fans stopping us in the big fancy hotel lobby and outside the TV studio. and this is what happened to us today.
Yes, this woman gets mobbed everywhere she goes.
Likewise, yeah.
Well, it is just really a joy. It's just a joy. And for those of you that you already know Tracy, for those of you that don't, I might tell a little bit of a few things on you that I don't know if people are really aware of.
Uh-huh.
So, but I'm going to throw something out there. You know, we meet a lot of really fascinating people, and you know, and there is a person that we both know, Tracy and I. I'm not going to tell you who it is. But I'm going to encourage you to grab a pen and a paper during this webinar, because when you're spending some time with us together, there's going to be some notes that you're going to want to write down for yourself, some things for yourself. So just think about when you go to the grocery store, how valuable that grocery list is. You always have 2 or 3 items. If you wouldn't have had it on your list, you wouldn't have had it, right? So there's going to be 2 or 3 thoughts that could literally change your life that you're going to want to just jot down while you're just hearing us talk spontaneously, genuinely, authentically from our heart here. You're going to get some thoughts that are going to be so impactful to your life that we don't want you to miss it. So grab a pen and a paper. And while you're doing that, I just want to share. There's going to be a person I'm going to share at the end of the webinar. So you got to stay with us to know who this is. But there's a person that we both know that literally has multiple, and just for time's sake, I'm not going to go through them, but I'm just going to say 10 business awards, entrepreneurial and leadership business awards. A person that also is literally world recognized for athletic achievement and athletic accomplishment. So business, leadership, athletic achievement, accomplishment in those arenas. I'm going to share a little bit about that person at the end. But during this time together, one of the things that Tracy and I really connected on, and it was just so powerful, was the fact that, you know, my science was created, really, Tracy, out of my own pain.
Yeah.
So thankfully, you know, in history, it's astonishing of how many times you'll see that a scientific breakthrough comes when somebody has had maybe one of their own children has an illness, and then they go research and they find a cure because they're highly motivated when that happens. And that's really my story.
You got to share that. You got to tell them about that.
Yeah, so 21 years ago, I was, you know, hardworking, very high level, successful banker, had a lot of success at a very young age, and was the youngest level 12 manager in America in the banking world, and ended up doing banking all over the world, lived for almost 2 years in Zurich, Switzerland, the banking capital of the world.
Nice.
Got to do a lot of cool things. However, about 21 years ago, I found myself in a really dark place because of health. So I had the wealth, but I didn't have the health. And that's when I discovered that, wow, what good does it do to have all the wealth in the world if you don't have your health?
Yeah.
If we could just pick up the phone and call Steve Jobs, who created Apple computers and iPhones, and we could call Steve and ask him, Steve, how valuable is your health? Well, we can't call him.
No, I was just thinking, uh-oh, he doesn't know.
He has $8.3 billion that he left in the bank, but he's gone because at around 50 years old, he dies so young. He wasn't fat, wasn't overweight, but he just was unhealthy. We can die of poor health at any age and with any amount of money in the bank. It's not going to save us.
No.
And so all of these things were compiling in my life because I realized I have all these health issues, and I have the weight issues though too. You know, kind of a little bit of a funny story in the midst of this. I don't want to be so serious. Don't anybody get sad. Stay with me. It's a happy ending. It's a happy ending. But in my dark hour there, I read this article that we as men, that we get a disconnect between our mind and our body. We have this mind-body disconnect. It's like the guy that thinks because I did this when I was younger, I could still do it. Because I looked like this when I was younger, I still look like that.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. It was a sad day. 21 years ago, no digital phones. You had to actually take a picture with a real camera, take it to get it really developed.
Jeez.
I paid double the price to get it developed the same day in 1 hour.
Double. Oh.
Yeah, and an hour later, the guy hands me an 8x10 photograph. I said, young man, I need my picture. He said, sir, don't shoot the messenger. That is your picture. I said, no, this guy looks like he swallowed a truck tire. Are you kidding me? It cannot be me. You know, I'm athletic. I'm fit. I'm
football player.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, please. Oh my word. It was a real wake-up call for me. Because now I realize not only do I feel bad, I look bad too. I have the looks to match what's happening on the inside. On the inside.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was like my MRI was matching my mirror. Yeah, I did not want that to happen.
Oh boy.
So in my pain, and it was really painful because I spent 10 years before that. I spent all kinds of money. Just come on, now you guys probably did too, right? You know, you try to diet. Does anyone out there ever try to diet? Well, I tried every diet. And here's what I learned about diets. The good news is they all work.
Mm-hmm.
The bad news is for a minute.
Yeah.
They all work for a minute. But life's a lot longer than a minute. And so in that pain, I had to make this decision at this crossroads of, I only have two choices here. I can just throw in the towel and just say, you know, I'm never going to look how I want to look. I'm never going to feel how I want to feel. I'm just going to have to do the best I can. That was a true choice. But the second choice was, or I can go do my own research because I just didn't want to fail again, Tracy.
No.
I just didn't want to fail again. I didn't want to have those feelings of, I worked so hard, I tried, and then I fail.
Oh, I bet you people relate.
Well, and I feel you. I feel your heart. If you're in that position, that was me, for real, 21 years ago. And thankfully, I had this moment where I realized, you know, when I was a little boy in school, one of my teachers told me one day, John, you have a photographic memory. You're quoting pages of encyclopedias. And I realized God gave me this gift to retain a lot of information. And when I got to 9th grade algebra, anybody remember 9th grade algebra? you know, they thought I was cheating on all my tests because it took me a minute to take a test and answer every question correctly because my brain skips all the steps. So it simplifies complex things. Now think of that combination of two things together. When it comes to research, that's a really good combination. And I realized, wait a minute, I can study thousands of pages of science and I can simplify it into something that should work to make me feel better.
Yeah.
Now, my whole goal, I want to be clear, was to feel better.
Yeah.
I really didn't care how I looked. I really didn't. I just want to feel better. I was tired of being tired.
Yeah.
And my energy was low. I was bone on bone in my knees. My cartilage was gone. You know, I was dehydrated and I didn't know it. But in my study of thousands of pages of science, skipping the steps and simplifying all of that complex science, you know, all the way from the brain and how the brain works and the cells and how it's so important to hydrate a cell.
Yeah.
And very quickly, look, you do not hydrate a cell by drinking water. You have to make a cell go from being as hard as a marble, and most of our cells are as hard as a marble, to being porous like a sponge. And so I studied, what does it take to make a cell porous like a sponge so to actually uptake that hydration? Because you could pour gallons of water across glass marbles, nothing's getting in there.
No.
And it's so frustrating because we think we're drinking our water. We should be hydrated.
Yeah.
But Tracy, can you believe, I went to find, I said, well, I need to measure how hydrated I am. Now this is 21 years ago. And I found one place that made a scale that you could buy. Guess how much that scale cost?
Hopefully not an arm and a leg, because I can't afford that. But it sounds like it just may have 20 years ago.
It was $8,000.
$8,000.
I don't know what you paid for an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
But you do.
It might be in the ballpark.
But it's $8,000. So it costs $8,000 to measure the hydration. So for 21 years, I've been measuring hydration because I realized it's the #1 most important thing of our health. Just think about even your car. If you just took the water out of a perfectly good car, it's not going to run for very long. It will destroy the engine, just that one element missing from a car. And a car is not even designed to be mostly water, but the human body is.
Yes.
And so how many of you would mark down in your chat, and I speak all over the world, 4 cities a week. For 21 years, I've asked people this question. Raise your hand if your doctor has measured your hydration level. Not one hand have I ever seen go up.
No.
No one measures hydration. I've been measuring it for 21 years. And this is why I was asked to speak at the United Nations, because I know the science of how to hydrate the human cell. And I know the danger of being dehydrated, because if we lose even just 10% of our hydration of our brain, we lose 50% of our brain synapses.
Ugh.
Stop firing. You know,
I know with sailing, my sailing coach used to, you know, you gotta drink, but drinking didn't do it. If it didn't do what you tell me, then I wasn't smart to sail.
Well, there we go. And all of us want to have our full brain function, right?
Yeah.
So I'll get into, but that's how I came up with the technology of how to transform at the cellular level, how to get your cells healthy, how to do that. But one thing I want us to talk about today, which is important, and look, this is your audience, right? Can I just get comfortable and take my jacket off here?
Yeah, I think my audience would probably like it better.
Is that okay with you guys? Is that okay? I'm a little.
Yes. We got all these fabulous lights going on.
So.
And right now the cameraman's holding the cell phone for Facebook Live while we do this webinar as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Super Rob. So, Tracy, but one of the things that, you know, I've had 53,000 successful people do the transformation, but I've also had a lot of other people that, I'm going to say a reason, for one reason or another, they either didn't want to do it, they thought they couldn't do it. You know, I'd like you to talk to those people, you know, that New Year's is right around the corner.
Yes.
You know, New Year's resolutions, people are thinking about it, you know, and, it's the joy and passion of my life to help people get healthy from the inside out. I've been sick one day in 21 years. My blood work's perfect. My health is perfect. I want people to have that experience.
Yes.
Because it's priceless.
Oh, yeah.
It's priceless. You can't be your best self if you're not healthy.
No.
I don't care how great of a person you are. You got to have your health. But would you talk to the people that would say, man, I'd like to get healthy, but,
Yeah.
I tried, 10 things like John, but, they kind of have their reason.
Yes.
Can you talk to those people?
Well, I like to say that, even worse than someone having a disability or something going on in their life is something going on in your life that's a really good excuse. There's nothing worse than a good excuse, a valid reason to say but, a valid reason to be on a couch. Maybe it's a broken leg, maybe it's something more horrific, and who knows what's going on, or even it's the season's holidays. Whatever it is, whatever that good excuse, there's nothing worse than a good excuse, because then it limits you from being invincible and getting any possibility, and sometimes we don't know how we're going to do it because we have this good excuse. We have this good reason that's preventing us. And it's kind of like when I started skiing. We had no idea how I would go skiing, right? How is that going to happen?
Well, that's what I'm thinking right now.
You're like, skiing, where's this story going?
Yeah.
And people with disabilities, when they ski without their legs, or if they're paralyzed, they use a sit ski. But with a sit ski, there's outriggers. There's like crutches with little skis on the end. But without my hands, the sit ski wasn't working. We even tried duct taping the outrigger to my arm, and it just wasn't enough control. So we had no idea how I was going to sit ski or ski. But I wasn't going to figure it out on my couch at home, right? I had to get out there. I had to just believe that I was going to ski. And I did. And I showed up at that ski hill having no idea how. And what ended up happening was that a big, strong ski instructor, like my friend John here, had size 12 ski boots. Size 12 ski boots. And what we did is we put my thighs in men's ski boots. We took my legs off and we put my thighs in men's ski boots. And that's how we attached myself to the skis. So I had no idea how I would ski, but I wasn't going to figure it out on my couch. I had to go for it and believe I can do it. And you believe you can do it. And so when you don't know how, or you have this good excuse, or you have those yeah buts in life, let me invite you to believe you can do it. And you've got to go for it. And even though you don't know how, and you don't know the nitty-gritty of the details, you go for it because you know in your heart the energy, the feeling that you have, for example, from John and I, like I had from my ski instructor, that this is going to work. We're going to be invincible until it works. And that's what I did with skiing. So that makes me think of what you're talking about with the yeah buts.
Well, it really does. Yours is 100 times more dramatic.
Yeah.
It's 100 times more dramatic than someone saying, I don't want to get up and exercise.
Oh.
Right? But it's the same principle.
Yeah.
It's the same principle as, someone just limited in their belief, or they're limited in their commitment. And for those of you that are in that boat, let me just give you a word of commitment. It's you know what? If not now, when?
Yeah.
Tomorrow is never going to come. Tomorrow is never going to come. Life is all about living in the moment, be fully present for today. We both have had many people that we know passed away this year. Yeah. Many people. Now, none of them told us last year, hey, guess what? Next year, I'm going to die. I'm not going to be here anymore. Not one of them was planning that it would be their last year on the planet. Not one of them. So we really want to encourage you from our own life experience, personal relationships that we were in this past year. 12 people passed away, and not old people, not of old age, just different things, whether it's a sickness that came upon them. And a lot of them it was a sickness that just came and just boom, it just accelerated, and then they were gone. And this is part of what I want to help you realize is your human body is designed to live for 120 years at full strength. 120 years, full strength, and not to be sick. You know, you can actually, when you do decide to die, you can just go to sleep and die. You don't have to die sick. And you can live well, you know, while you are alive, if you're actually willing to do something like what Tracy's talking about. Now, she wanted to ski. Do you want to get healthy? She wanted to ski. She found a way to ski. Now, that's pretty dramatic. I mean, if you can say, well, let's just take my legs off and figure it out. I think between us together, helping this audience of people, we can figure out a way, you know, to help you succeed. And why I'm so compelled by Tracy is, can you imagine? It really is, Tracy. I'm just really sharing my heart here. Family business. Look, I've helped 53,000 real people, and that's exciting. But the reality is, it should be 1,053,000 people.
Yeah.
Because you know what we're sharing with people, it's so simple. And by the way, I did have a girl right here, the city that we're filming this webinar in. I had a girl in a wheelchair who lost 36 inches in a wheelchair, came off of all her medication. And she said, John, she said, I got cured of all my illnesses that I had in my wheelchair. I got cured of acne. She said, I lost 36 inches. She said, I lost a really bad attitude. Which that's what we teach, right? Total transformation.
Yes.
It's your mind, it's your body, it's your spirit. Everything's connected. You can have the greatest attitude in the world, but if you have migraine headaches or diabetes and you're getting insulin shot, it's going to be hard for you to keep that good attitude, you know, while you're going through dialysis or all these types of things. And Tracy, you don't have 53,000, 7 terabytes of documented testimonials, hundreds of doctors that have become my client because I healed the patient. You know, their patient literally reversed their diabetes, reversed their high blood pressure, reversed their arthritis, reversed migraine headaches, you know, after decades of pain. Back pain. I had a man that owns 3 healthcare companies. He had 25 years of back pain where he had to get epidurals and single shot injections and all types of hundreds of thousands of dollars. He was cured in 88 days. And people do ask this question, you know, why is it 88 days?
I was just going to say 88 days.
Yeah, that's a cellular cycle. The cellular cycle of the human body is 88 days. That's why every A1C test is 90 days, because the cellular cycle turnover is 88 days. You can regenerate all your cells in 88 days. But with your attitude, if we could just get that to go through the screen for people to just receive that and say, wait a minute, if this woman with no arms and legs can learn how to ski and sail, you know, oh, by the way, you know.
World Cup sail, I could beat you in a boat.
Yeah, you can beat me in a boat. Yes, she can. She can. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah.
Right in front of everybody.
But I could also wake up and exercise. And I was worried about that. I was worried, well, what about treadmill and, you know, traditional exercising doesn't work for me. I'm so physical with my prosthetics, and that's kept me healthy for so many years. But now that I'm over 30, maybe over 40, that I need to find a way to exercise. And you even have a solution for that. So even if you're, you know, minorly hungover and don't feel like exercising the next morning, to maybe you've recently had a stroke, or maybe you've got some arthritis going on, maybe your body just isn't what it used to be. I mean, whatever it is, maybe you recently broke an arm or a leg. How do you keep fit?
That's it.
You've got solutions.
No, you truly do. And it's because, you know, I meet these extraordinary people, and all of us are so unique.
Yeah.
I mean, I have people that they have one foot that they have no nerves in it. And they say, John, I'm told my nerves will never activate in this foot again. You know, there's no way I can do it. I say, way, you can do it.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, guess what? They end up, the nerves activate in the feet. Because when your cells get healthy, everything gets healthy. I had this permanently disabled fireman from New York City, and he'd been trapped in a fire. And literally, people don't realize how hot it is for a fireman. You know, I say that it's fire.
Yeah.
But but the temperature of the air can get hotter than even fire itself.
Oh, wow.
And it melted his lungs.
Oh.
So his lungs were melted. So just picture like he has two little baggies instead of two garbage bags, you know, for the lungs. You know, his lungs were just these little shriveled up baggies. That's all he had left. And I said, look, I'm telling you, you can do it. He said, John, I can only exercise for a minute. I said, let's just start with the minute.
Yeah.
So he was terribly overweight and had all kinds of health issues. But we started at 1 minute a day, just walking. But I gave him the 10 steps, and that's what I teach. I teach a 10-step protocol that people follow.
From your research.
From the research. And so they do these simple 10 things for 88 days. He starts doing this, and a minute turns into 2 minutes, turns into 4 minutes, turns into 8 minutes. By the time he got done, he could literally run for 5 miles.
Woo!
Could run for 5 miles. He said, am I going to be taken off of my permanent disability? I said, no, we didn't regrow your lungs.
Yeah.
I said, now you're just so healthy at the cellular level, your body's overcompensating for what you're missing. He gained 14 pounds of solid muscle.
Nice.
And he lost 70 pounds of fat.
Is he single?
You know, he has 5 kids.
5 kids.
5
That's
kids.
crazy.
Yeah. 8 weeks into his 88 days, his wife said, sign me up, man. I don't know what's happened to my husband, but I want some of that.
Yeah. Wow.
So she became a client as well. But he taught me this principle. When he was signing up, he looked at me when he finally was convinced he was going to do it, which was the day before Thanksgiving, the year he did it, by the way.
What time to say, even though?
Yeah, the day before Thanksgiving. And he's going to make this commitment. And he says, well, how much does it cost? And I told him how much it costs. And he just went dead air. Now, if you work in radio or television, you know dead air is not good. Someone always has to be talking. You got to stay engaged. But in a conversation, I'm taught to be respectful and wait for someone to respond. And so 10 seconds turns into 20 awkward seconds, turns into a minute, turns into 2 minutes. This was 3 of the most awkward moments I've ever experienced, was just waiting. And finally, this man says, I'm doing it. And he signs his commitment, because I make everyone commit to 3 simple things that they commit to, and I'll share that a little bit with you.
And that was him we just saw on the screen?
And that was him. And so he makes these 3 commitments, and then he says to me, he says, John, he goes, can I tell you what I was thinking there? And I said, please.
Yeah, you're like, you're kidding me. What was he thinking?
Please tell me what you're thinking. Are you kidding me? He said, I got to tell you. He said, my first thought was, that's too expensive. I'm not going to spend that money on myself.
Yeah.
He said, but my very next thought was, I just spent more money than that fixing my wife's car last week.
Yeah.
And he said, I thought 2 weeks before that, I spent more money than that fixing the roof of my house. A few months before that, I spent more money than that fixing my furnace. And he said, I started running through this whole list of things that were more money than what I was going to spend on me and my health. Mm-hmm. And he said, I realized, what am I thinking? This is me. This is my health. I'm worth it. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But Tracy, it really pierced my heart when he said that.
Yeah.
Because when he said that, my light bulb went off like, oh my word, that's how we think. We devalue ourselves.
Yeah.
We devalue our own health. We put more money into our big screen TV than we'll put into ourselves and our health.
Yeah.
What's happened to us? You know, there's millennials spending more money on video games than they do on making sure that their long-term health is safe and secure, and you know that they could literally live a drug-free, medication-free, medication-free life. So I really want to encourage everyone that's listening. You can write down on your piece of paper for this year, for 2019, is put me first.
Yeah.
Put me first. It's not selfish to put you first. It's actually unselfish. Because think about it, whoever you are, there's somebody that depends on you in life. And if you're not there, they're not going to get what they need. So especially moms and spouses, dads, hey, there's people that are depending on you. Every airline teaches you put that oxygen mask on yourself first, and then the person next to you, because if we were on an airplane and I pass out, I'm not going to be able to carry you off that airplane.
But the reality is I probably carried him off.
Yeah, she probably would. I'd be holding on to one of these legs.
And it would come off, and then neither of us would get it. But we need to put our oxygen on first, right? Yeah.
So we can do that. And to honor yourself, but put on that list to put me first, honor yourself first.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people have read, you know what, the #1 selling book of all time on the East Coast, some people call it the Holly Bible. In the Midwest, they call it the Holy Bible. It's the same book, #1 selling book of all time, but teaches this principle to love your neighbor. And that sounds really nice, right? Love your neighbor. But it's not really what it teaches, because they're missing the second half, which is the most important half. It's love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
So the key is love yourself first, so you're around to love your neighbor. Love yourself first, so you're healthy enough to love your neighbor.
Yes.
Because what can we really do for someone else if we don't take care of ourselves first?
Yeah. Like you think of moms and what they put into their kids.
That's a perfect example. It's a perfect example. And how many moms run themselves into the ground? And my beloved nurses, I want to talk to you nurses. You are the best and the worst. You're the best because you're loving, nurturing caregivers. You're the worst because you take care of everyone else better than you literally take care of yourself.
Yes.
I have hundreds of nurses that have done my protocol, hundreds of them. In fact, I want to tell you about one of my favorite of all time. She's like a sister to me. Her name is Heather Britt. She's literally a nursing supervisor at Baptist Hospital in Nashville, Tennessee. And when I met Heather, I cannot even make these stories up. Heather Britt sat down with me just like you are. She sits down, she looks at me and she goes, "Sign me up. It's not going to work for me."
What?
That's what I said. I said, "Why are you even here?"
If it's not going to work, yeah.
She said, "John, I lost a bet with my stupid brother." Now, come on, girls. Don't call your brother stupid. She said, "I lost a bet with my stupid brother." I said, "Get out of town. I've never heard such a thing." I said, "What was the bet?" She said, "We both were 100 pounds overweight since high school." She said, "So we've had this ongoing bet all these years that if one of us ever actually lost the weight, that the other one has to do what the other one did to lose it." She said, "So all I've heard for 88 days, John Jubilee, John Jubilee, John Jubilee, John Jubilee." She said, "Because my brother lost 112 pounds of fat. He gained 20 pounds of solid muscle. And now he's all lean and fit and healthy. And his skin looks amazing." And I said, "Well, Heather, you're a nurse, for goodness sake. You're a supervisor." I said, "Doesn't that give you a little bit of confidence that maybe you might succeed since your brother had that great success?" She said, "No, absolutely not."
Nurses are stubborn.
She said, "Look," she said, "I was the girl in high school. I never had a date. I never went to the prom. I was 100 pounds overweight." She said, "Then I got multiple sclerosis. So I go into medicine to try to learn how to get healthy and alleviate my illnesses." She said, "But nothing in medical science could help me." I said, "Well, Heather, this is not just medicine. You know, this is pure science." That she said, No, I'm not done yet." She said, "Then I spent $60,000 on weight loss."
60.
That's what I said, Tracy. I said, "Now look," I said, "usually I call people, I tell people to be skeptical, by the way. And if you're watching us and with us today, I absolutely invite you. You have a free pass. Be a beautiful, beloved skeptic. Be skeptical. Intelligent people are skeptical people. I love skeptical people. It's intelligence. But still be a scientist, a seeker of truth. Find what the truth is." So I'm looking at Heather. I said, "Heather, now I'm skeptical."
Yeah.
I said, 60,000. How do you spend $60,000 on weight loss? She said, "I'll tell you how." She said, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystems, MetaFast, HCG 5 times. She literally named $60,000 worth of weight loss. It was really sad.
Yeah.
And I could just see the hopelessness the total hopelessness in her. And I saw myself.
Yeah.
I saw myself of where I was.
Yeah.
I said, she's just in the same boat I was in.
Just sick of failing.
So I wanted to encourage her, and I just said, Heather, are you from the planet Earth? She said, excuse me? I said,
Yeah.
are you an earthling? She said, well, of course. And I said, well, this works really good on earthlings. She said, whatever. She goes, I know you got a money back guarantee, and I'm going to get my money back. I said, well, Heather, I am 53,000 and oh. I said, if you get your money back, you'll be the first person that ever failed. So good luck with that, sister.
Yeah.
88 days later, Heather Britt lost 106 pounds of fat. Not one drop of water. And by the way, I guaranteed her. She said, well, every diet I did, I lost 20 pounds of water. I said, you won't lose one drop of water. You'll gain healthy hydration because I know how to hydrate the human cell. Said, you'll gain healthy hydration. She said, if I lost 100 pounds of fat, my skin would be sagging like a Shar-Pei dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, nobody's skin ever sags because it's hydrated and it tightens like shrink wrap. It's too good to be true. I said, you think it's the first time I ever heard that? I said, I hear that every day of my life.
Yeah.
I said, be skeptical. Say it's too good to be true until you experience it.
Yes.
I said, then you tell us what the reality is. Just share your experience. If it doesn't work, I'll joyfully give you back your money. She lost 106 pounds of fat. She literally, her doctor documented, after all those years, she was non-symptomatic from multiple sclerosis.
That doesn't happen.
Documented, medically documented. And she's one of my testimonials, you know, that's on video, that shares her story from a medical perspective, from a doctor's perspective. I have 200 other doctors that share all these testimonials and from a medical perspective of why this really works for people. But here's the beautiful part of the story. She, now before I get to that though, she bought her first bikini.
Woo!
Bought her first bikini. She looked like just a really nice, good fitness model. She got her first boyfriend, and she went to her family reunion. When she went to her family reunion, her father saw her, and he literally wept. He wept.
Oh.
And he went up and he held her and he said, baby, he said, please forgive Daddy for saying all those years, you're just a big girl. You're just a big girl. Daddy had no idea this is what you really look like. And Tracy, that's when I learned a principle that I now teach called your genetic blueprint. Heather Britt had a genetic blueprint to be lean and fit and healthy. She just never did the right 10 steps. She never was on the right protocol that would allow her to see her true genetic blueprint.
Yep.
It's like a beautiful drawing of a home that never gets built.
Yeah.
And that's where I teach the principle, build your house. How long does it take to build a house? 88 days. You know. Now, if you have a bigger project and you want to do something greater, I tell people, I have the bonus room, throw in the swimming pool. If you want to go past 88 days, you can do that. I did have one other gentleman, I'll quickly tell you, 67 years old.
Yeah.
He was on 10 medications, high blood pressure, arthritis, diabetes. And this guy, in 88 days, he lost 120 pounds of fat.
At 67, well,
At
he could
67.
do it at 67. Holy cow, anybody could.
Both of his doctors have told him, you got to do this program. You got to meet John. I'm telling you, he's the real deal. And so he does the program. You can watch his video. He's got a 45-minute testimonial on one of our websites. He's our longest testimonial.
And you're like 2-3 minutes.
His own mother didn't recognize him. His own mother literally did not recognize him when he got done.
And she didn't have Alzheimer's.
No. No, she had full functioning. She thought he was a refrigerator repairman.
Oh, that's funny.
But you can see the story. But 67 years old, he lost 120 in 88 days. But then he asked me, he said, John, am I done building my house? I said, did you do the build your house test? He said, well, what's that?
Yeah.
I said, take off all your clothes, stand in front of a full-length mirror, and jog in place. I said, if it jiggles, it's fat. He said, I'm not done yet. So he did it for 8 more weeks. He lost another 55 pounds of fat.
Holy cow.
He lost 175 pounds of fat.
Wow.
in 88 days and 8 weeks. Documented by 2 medical doctors, skin tight as a drum. No sagging skin at 67 years old.
Oh, that's my frustration with diets that don't last, is that there's always this sagging skin at the end.
Yeah. And for those of you that are watching, think about it. If you weigh 175 pounds, he lost you.
Yeah.
He lost you. He
Yeah.
lost a person.
He lost 2 of me.
Out of his body.
Yeah.
And no sagging skin.
Wow.
And came off of all 10 medications.
Amazing.
So the great news is, it's like what you say. It's like, well, if this guy can do it, everyone can do it. If this guy can do it, everyone can do it. If a woman in a wheelchair can do it, everyone can do it. So let me ask you this, though. Why do you think there's people that don't do it?
No. I think your thoughts of tomorrow, but I think people have limiting beliefs. I think there's a lot of people like that nurse. Thank goodness her brother made a bet with her and she felt accountable to her brother. And so they don't feel that accountability to anybody else, even though there's people that love them and want them to live and thrive and believe it's just not going to work for them. And we hear stories from people in our lives about what's realistic. Well, I hear the word realistic, and every time I just envision a red X through it. I'm a very visual person. I'm seeing it, I'm hearing the word realistic, and then I'm like, whoop, right? And that's what pops up. And I think people think it's unrealistic, and it's unrealistic for a amputee climb the Himalayas, or unrealistic that for a amputee girl in a male-dominated sport can do well in a World Cup able-bodied regatta. And so it might feel like it's unrealistic that some transformational experience program is really going to be an impact after all of these other programs that haven't worked. And so I think it's past, we base our decisions on past experience. And so if it hasn't happened before, therefore it cannot happen. It's like the guy that ran the Minute Mile, for many, many years. 4 minute mile. They said it can't be done, can't be done. And then the year he did it, 4 other people did it the same year. So it can be done. Past experience doesn't dictate today. The only difference is you got to do it.
So I'm going to ask our audience a question. Are you hearing this true? This is a real person. This is a real person.
From the knees up. Cheeky.
She's cheeky.
But real.
All of her, but she's real. Is that your challenge? Is that your challenge? I would ask you that. Is your challenge, are you basing your future on your past experience? Are you saying just because you never succeeded before, you don't think you can succeed now? And when you're saying that, you realize, see, that's what I needed to hear 21 years ago.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I did have that conversation in my own head, which was, look, just because I failed for the past 10 years doesn't mean I'm going to fail this time.
Nope.
But I just had a thought while we're talking here. But the reason I believed was because I had new knowledge.
Yeah. I
had new information.
With your scientific research.
With my scientific research, because now I realize, wait a minute, the key is cellular health. If my cells are healthy, everything's going to be healthy. If my cells are healthy, my metabolism should work better.
Yes.
My hypothalamus should work better. My metabolism, my kidneys, all my organs should function better, which should help me to feel better, help my inside out health. And then I found out, wow, there's positive side effects, which is you become like a thermonuclear power plant. The energy goes up, the fat burns, the muscle grows. By the way, I didn't have muscle like this when I was 20 years old, and I gained lean, healthy, muscle, and I gained healthy hydration. I gained the good and I lost the bad. That's why the word transformation. I hate the word weight loss, by the way. Weight loss is a myth.
Yeah.
Think about it. We all know what Heather Britt said is true, right? The first 10, 20 pounds everyone loses, just water.
Yeah.
We could just go in a sauna and eat Twinkies and do that.
Yeah.
That's weight loss.
Yeah.
But transformation is when we actually gain the healthy, hydration, lean muscle, bone density, so we never get osteoporosis. And then we lose fat and fat only.
Yeah. But things work. Like I love your story about the artery, and if it's thirsty, it's all shriveled up and tight. And so your blood can't flow through. So then when you have these horrible things flowing through your blood and it's tiny and tight, no wonder people have a stroke or a heart attack, right? By hydrating a cell, it opens up and it flows smoothly.
You know, oh my word.
Like, and there's a gazillion stories like that John
well, I'm
teaches.
glad you brought that one up, because 1 out of 3 people watching us has high blood pressure. And all high blood pressure is that shriveled up artery.
Okay.
The artery shrivels up and gets small, and when the artery is smaller, the blood pressure goes up. And when we hydrate it at the cellular level, the artery opens up, and no more high blood pressure and no high cholesterol. Because cholesterol is actually like Teflon, slippery, slick, and it gets in there to try to help the blood get through the shriveled up artery. But when it's not shriveled up, the body stops overproducing the cholesterol.
That's incredible.
So that's why literally 100 out of 100, 1,000 out of 1,000, 10,000 out of 10,000 people with high blood pressure, it reverses every single time.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And I mean, and I like that you talk about transformational experience, because I've done the weight loss. But what I want to do is I want the cleanse, and I want to get rid of the candida and the negative cancer. But I'm still, I use all the moisturizer in the world, and I drink all the water bottles in the world, but I still have peeling skin and sagging skin. And I don't know that I've had that full transformational high energy. So it isn't just about the weight loss, which is what excites me about your program.
Exactly, because it's true health at the cellular level.
Yes.
It is truly an inside-out program.
And United Nations are excited by his scientific research. Like, it is blowing up with doctors and United Nations, no less. Like, holy cow! Because they realize we want to make a healthier world. And if we can make everyone healthier, then the health costs for the world go down too.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
So if they've got your ear, if they've got his ear, or he has their ear, I mean, this is breakthrough technology. This is incredible.
Absolutely. Well, let's give our audience the opportunity to communicate and interact with us. We're going to have a couple of links that are available. You can look on your screen that you can click through. A couple different ways to contact us even after the webinar is over. If you have questions, we're always available to answer those. And there's a whole staff of people, that work, in our scientific research over the last 21 years. I have an amazing team of people. My head man internationally, you can actually email him, David, just that simple, David@johnjubilee.com, David@johnjubilee.com. He'll put that in the bar below. So if you have a question specifically, you can put it in there. We have a website with a knowledge base. We've answered hundreds of questions over the years for people. And look, I encourage everyone in our audience worldwide, be beautiful, beloved skeptics. Be skeptical, but do this for yourself. You have nothing to lose. You only have health to gain. Make a goal for yourself that this year is going to be your year. That's about, you're going to put yourself first. You're going to accomplish something that you will acknowledge yourself that you're priceless and your health is priceless. Those are two of the only priceless things in the world, is you, your health, and relationships. Other than that, you can pretty much buy anything. But you, your health, and relationships, those are priceless things. You cannot buy those things, and those are things that are worth investing in. So we'll try to open up through Facebook and through the webinar. David, if we could take a couple questions, if you have them in there, we'll do them. And for those of you that, if you're a little bit shy of doing that, then you can contact David@johnjubilee.com, and you can just email your question, and we'll be happy to reach back out to you. You can also put yourself in a queue to receive updated information. So if you want to get some just new and exciting things about what's happening with health, this is part of what we do, is we deliver this information to people. Can I give them a couple quick ones, real?
Yeah, I think it's a good.
Yeah, so for instance, the human brain only has one nutrient. There's only one nutrient that feeds the human brain. Do you know what it is? And you can start typing in answers, and everywhere I go, audiences, I'll get 20 answers on this, and no one ever gets it right. It is salt. Sodium is the only nutrient to the human brain. It is salt. Salt is actually healthy for you. Again, quoting that #1 best-selling book in the world, the Bible says you're the salt of the earth. It has to be a good thing. It has to be good. You're the salt of the earth. It's a good thing in the earth. Doesn't mean it's bad. It's good. The key is to be hydrated. When you're hydrated at a cellular level, you can't get too much salt. But the key is to be hydrated at the cellular level. And if you're not fully hydrated, if you're just 10% dehydrated, as I shared before, you're going to lose 50% of your brain synapses are not firing. And that's why we think we're losing our memory. You're not losing your memory. Your mind never ages. Your brain synapses, the lights are going off in the house. The lights are going off in the house. The house is getting dark because you're dehydrated at the cellular level. And when I say this, I recently had a professional athlete. You can look at this interview on YouTube.
Yeah.
A world champion athlete. I bet them $1 million they were dehydrated. They said some words that are not in my vocabulary. John, there's no way I'm dehydrated. I drink 3 gallons a day of Kangen water, high alkaline, high pH water. It's impossible. I'm dehydrated. I said, well, then bet me $1 million. They wouldn't bet me, but they did let me measure it. And when I measured their hydration, they were dehydrated. 4 weeks later, doing the 10 simple things I teach, 3 simple things for 2 weeks, and then 7 simple things for 88 days. They were completely hydrated. Their doctor said they reverse age 10 years in 4 weeks. 10 years in 4 weeks.
This is a big athlete who's healthy anyway.
A world champion athlete who went from great to extraordinary. They were already great. They went to extraordinary. But I would love to share these types of things with you. And again, if you just send David an email, give him your email, he can follow up. And Tracy and I want you to follow us. So you can follow us with Facebook Live. We're going to be doing these, all throughout the year. This year, we're probably going to be doing some things together on television and on radio all over the world. So you can certainly catch us there. But the internet is so convenient, so easy. You can always watch the recordings of this. And Tracy, what would be your word of encouragement to this audience today?
If I can do it, you can do it. No, disarm your limiting beliefs and get the peak performance, best version of you. Highly recommend the transformational experience because it's an experience. It's not a diet. It is a transformational experience.
Yes, absolutely. So again, I can't stress strongly enough, put yourself first. Put yourself first. Take care of yourself first. And if you decide this is something that you want to do, I just want to encourage you. We always make it affordable for everyone. We never want someone to not do it for money. So don't think that you're not going to be able to afford it because you are. Never let someone not do it for money. You can do it. But I want to encourage you to be willing to make an investment in yourself. And again, we're just going to make this easy for you to reach out or have a personal staff member, talk to you. So just email David, D-A-V-I-D, at John Jubilee, and that'll come up in the bar. And then we can share with you, how you can participate in this. But no matter what, we want you to join us on the journey of this year. So all year, we're going to be together. We want to inspire you. We want to motivate you. We want to give you inspiration to be the best you that you can possibly be. So until next time we hang out, This is Unstoppable Tracy.
And John Jubilee.
And by the way, I told you, I gave you a little bit of a tease at the beginning. My favorite saying for Tracy, I told her we're hanging out. We hang out personally. We're truly friends. And I told her, I said, Tracy, I'm always going to say this. And by the way, she has no arms and no legs. Because what most people don't know about Tracy, she is a highly decorated businesswoman. She's an entrepreneur. She's a leader. She's an accomplished athlete. She's a mountain climber. She's a rappeller. She's a sailor, for goodness sake. She's a skier. She does all this stuff. And oh, by the way, she has no arms and no legs.
What? Now you tell me. Come on.
So I want to help her, and if you would share. When you talk about this woman, I want you to share with people. She's an accomplished entrepreneur. She's an accomplished businesswoman. She's an accomplished mountain climber, rappeller, sailor, motivational speaker, author, TV, radio. Share all that, and then say, and oh, by the way, she has no arms and no legs, and she still has accomplished all those things.
Aww.
So I love you. You take away everyone's excuses. You're a rock star.
Thank you, John.
And we'll look forward to seeing you next time.